Welcome, Aldo, to Play Hard, Look Dope.
Thank you.
You are a successful entrepreneur. Do you see yourself that way every single day?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just in my DNA. Let me tell you something. It was tough. Maybe my grades weren't good enough to go into Ivy League, but I'll out hustle anyone out there. Gee, I have to get a job now.
Right.
Every morning, I had to be at Hunts Point in the Bronx at 3, 4 in the morning, dealing with all these meat people. Made me national sales manager at 22 years old to run the whole United States. They found a razor blade in the bag. And that's how we began with the New York style bagel chip.
When you get that call, you're like,
Your
what?
company could be over.
Totally.
As someone of your level of success, what do you think about working from home?
Who spent $300? I just happened to catch it. How many times don't I catch it, right?
Right. If that
Of
was
what-
his own money, he would have cared.
That's my point.
You said that a lot of people in the younger generation are more entitled.
Yeah. Well, I'm old school. I'm old school regarding how to be a salesperson, how to go about your business, treat people, how to show respect. And I just don't think the younger generation have those same traits as people who are old school like myself.
Welcome, Aldo, to Play Hard, Look Dope.
Thank you. Great to be here. And I love you guys.
Great to have you, man. We're so excited for today.
Yeah, when you first asked me, something I've never done, so I figured, why not start with you guys?
You're in New York right now because of the Rangers.
Yeah, I'm here. The opener was Monday night, October 16th, and tomorrow night again, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And my wife gave me the clearance to stay in New York City by myself for a
There
day.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
She's a good wife.
Geez.
Yes, I'm very fortunate.
You are a successful entrepreneur. Do you see yourself that way every single day?
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of just, I kind of just evolved into it. You know, when you go to college, you don't know what you want to do or what you want to be. And I fell into that. I wasn't smart enough to go to Ivy League school.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Fairleigh Dickinson in Teaneck, New Jersey. And I finished in 3 years, took summer courses, and I worked all during that construction jobs. And so I didn't have the full college experience. But for me, that worked out. And then I came out of college. It's like, okay, I have to get a job.
What kind of degree did you have?
A degree in business and finance. And so I said to myself, okay, maybe my grades weren't good enough to go into Ivy League, but I'll out hustle anyone out there. So that was kind of my mindset. Yeah, I was like captain of the little league team. I was always rah, kind of a Pete Rose type baseball player. If I had ball 4, I'd run to first base. So that was always embedded in me as a young guy.
So, did you grow up in New Jersey?
Born and raised in Fort Lee, New Jersey.
What was that? What was that like?
Yeah, no, it was great because right next to the city, but not in the city, huge sports fan. So I had the best father in the world. He would come home from work, 5, 6 o'clock, exhausted, take us to the Garden for the Rangers, take us to Yankee Stadium, take us to the Giant games.
What did he do?
Nets game. My dad was an engineer.
Okay.
And so it was wonderful. It really was great. And we would stay the entire game. And of course, he was tired from work.
Yeah.
He wanted to leave. The Rangers could be winning or losing 5-1. No, Dad, I want to stay to the final buzzer. And he always did to make take my brother and I happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do you think you got the grind hustle from?
It's just in my DNA. My father, super outgoing, super aggressive, and I think that's where I got it from.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, in school,
Yeah.
were you someone that really paid attention in class, or were you kind of bored in class? Were you thinking bigger at a younger age? Because I feel like entrepreneurship is something that you're 80% born with. It's hard to teach.
Yeah, I would drift in school, sitting there in one spot for a sustained period of time. So, yeah, I kind of got bored with school.
Did you think, okay, I'm going to go through the reins. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to college.
Yeah,
and I'm going to start my business.
Kind of like, it's like the blueprint that people have.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I was following the blueprint, so to speak. And then I came out of college. And then, I have to get a job now. My cousin Mark introduced me to a cheese company in Moonachie, New Jersey called Dorman Roth Cheese. And they hired me, not for a lot of money. And my job was to cover stores. So they gave me like 150 stores that I had to visit during the week and visit the deli managers to make sure they carried the cheese and so forth.
Sort of like a district.
And if they didn't
manager or
carry it,
something?
you had to convince
If they
them.
didn't carry it, I'd have to make sure that they put the other cheeses that we have to offer. And I remember I had said to my boss at the time, John, I said, how many stores do people normally cover in a week? And he said, about 35. Now, they gave me the toughest territory because I was the new guy on the block. Long Island, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens. Coming from New Jersey, it
That's a schlep. It's all over.
it was a lot. So I decided on my own to work on my own time on Saturday and Sunday because Sunday there was no traffic. So I was starting
smart.
Riverhead, Long Island. This was before GPS, before anything.
Yeah.
I'd map it all out, have all the papers in my car. I started doing 70 to 90 stores per week. 2 months into the job, John, my boss, pulls me aside, true story, and says, "You better cut it out. You're embarrassed."
Wait,
He
no.
said, "You're being too aggressive. You're embarrassing everyone, and stop doing this."
So the
And
other
I said-
people were lazy and
So
you were
now-
fucking
Right, you were
grinding.
working hard.
So now when he told me that, the next week I did 100 stores. Yeah.
Wait, so you
Yeah.
went against your boss?
I went against him. I said,
Immediately.
now I'm going to do more.
Because why? You knew.
Yeah, like where did
You
you
were
get that
hungry.
from?
You were hungry.
I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be the hustler. So, real quick, about 10 years ago, I was at a trade show and we're having dinner, and my ex-boss is there from when I first started.
John.
John's still in the industry, kind of in the same position.
No.
And there was about 10 people at dinner. And I said, so I told the story that I just told you to everyone. I said, "John," and he remembered it. He goes, obviously I was mistaken.
Obviously, I was wrong.
That's a true story.
That's a good characteristic, though, of him to be like, okay, I was wrong.
He acknowledged it. He was cool
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
And so I only stayed there for 6 months.
So in 6 months, you
6
did
months. I said,
more
you know
than
what?
double what everyone else
I
was
got
doing.
bored and wasn't making a lot of money. And then my cousin again set up an interview for me with John Morrell. So who's John Morrell? They're a big meat company at the time, owned by Chiquita Banana, and they also own Nathan's, and they were big in the meat. So every morning,
Meat like cold cuts.
like beef.
Okay.
Beef in supermarkets and ribeyes and
Oh, okay.
so every morning I had to be at Hunts Point in the Bronx at 3, 4 in the morning,
Oh,
dealing with
shit.
all these meat people and then all these meat distributors.
What was that like when you say that?
Let me tell you something. It was tough. I mean, it toughened me up from a street standpoint. Going through the Bronx at that time in the morning, unsavory characters,
Yeah.
passing all types of stuff.
Bronx was tough back then.
Yeah. Now from Fort Lee, New Jersey, look at a map, it's not far, but nevertheless, getting up that early in the morning and dealing with that.
Yeah, you have gunfights, you have hookers, you have all that
drugs
shit.
everywhere. It
Right.
was it was intimidating. But you know something? For some reason, again in my DNA, I just adapted to it. And then 6 months went by. My cousin again,
Your cousin's like your god.
and he'll remind you if you meet him. What he
was
did
amazing.
was he set up an interview with me with this wonderful husband and wife entrepreneurial team, and this couple had just started a brand. You're gonna know the name when I say it. New York style bagel chips.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So in
course.
1989, I go down to Princeton, New Jersey. We met for lunch.
I love bagel chips.
Yeah, we met for lunch, and they said, we just started this little company. His wife invented the bagel chip, and he says, I need a right-hand guy. And I don't want someone that's already established. I want someone that I can mold.
Yeah.
Now, we both had type A personalities, so we hit it off. At the end of the lunch, he said to me, you're our guy. Quit what you're doing.
Oh,
But
shit.
one thing, 90 days, 3 months. You have to impress me. You have to be productive and show me that.
That's what he's saying to you.
He said to me,
Yeah.
he made me national sales manager at 22 years old to run the whole United States. And all I knew at the time was the New York market. I knew the A&P, the Grand Union, the Pathmark. Those chains aren't even around anymore, some of
Right.
those chains.
Right.
So I said, okay. So I quit the meat company, which I wasn't really enjoying anyway. And my first day of work, he gives me a book, literally this thick. And it was a grocery book of all the supermarket chains in the United States. And every day he'd say, what's in Oregon? I go, Fred Meyer. What's in Houston? Randall's. What's
Get
in Denver?
out. You had to read
he
that
would I didn't
for
have
real.
a beer. I didn't go on a date. It was total focus.
So you studied this book.
I
Yeah.
studied that book inside and out. And to this day, I still know it.
Right.
The third week in the company, he says, I never forget this. You're going to go to Phoenix. You're going to go to Salt Lake City. And you're going to go to Denver, like the Triangle. And I set up some meetings for you, and you're ready. It's only my third week. And you have power of attorney. If you mess up, it's on you for how much of a discount to give, how much of a deal to make, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, shit.
So I started. That's how I started. And when I went on a meeting, what I did was what I just told you. I played a sympathy card. I'm on a 90-day probation.
You told him
I told him the whole story. I played that card because it was honest and it was true, and people gravitated to me because of that.
I mean, you don't have usually you don't meet an honest salesman.
No, you don't. You
And-
actually
and-
don't.
And that's how I began with the New York style bagel chips. So fast forward, 90 days goes by. I crush it. Gives me a little bit of a raise. Very rewarding. And then he says to me, I want to be in Canada. If you can't figure it out, I'll hire someone that does. I said, hold on. Give me some. So I just finished one challenge.
Even after you did all
This
of
is
that.
wait. This is only after 90 days.
Yes. I did 416 area code, I believe it was. I called up Ontario, and lady said, well, what's the company you want? I
And
said,
do they speak English in Canada?
yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes. in Quebec, they don't. In Quebec, they don't. No, listen. So I asked her where she buys her groceries. And she goes, why? She gave me the
That's
phone
fucking
numbers of
brilliant.
all the top supermarkets. I bulldozed my way into an
So, dude, she was like your Google today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good
It
analogy.
is, right.
So I bulldozed my way into an appointment. I fly to Toronto. I tell the buyer my story. These names I'll never forget. He goes, Aldo, there's a company called the William Dunn Company. They were a big broker back then. And someone works there named Bill Ivany. You should go meet them. They can guide you all throughout Canada and really help you. I immediately reached out to these people. I met this guy, Bill Ivany, and we hit it off. He goes, Aldo, you go to Vancouver, you meet this guy named Fred Hornet. You go to
Oh
Winnipeg,
my God.
Saskatoon, Nova Scotia.
They like gave you the layup. They
The
set you
whole
up.
layup. I spent like 10 days up there over the weekend. I came back to my boss and I said, I got Canada nailed down. True story. True story.
What did he say?
It was pretty wild. He was very happy.
I feel like he knew that you could do it though, in a
Right, no.
sense.
You know, I always say something that I was 22, 23, and he hired me with no national experience. A lot of people would not have done that.
No,
Right.
yeah.
And forever grateful to him for doing that because he springboarded my career.
He had a lot of faith.
So obviously
He had a lot
he
of faith in
saw
me.
something in you. You were like a
Yes.
diamond
Yeah.
in the rough.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
saw that. He saw something
He did.
about you.
He did.
And he's like, I know he could fucking do it. And he
Yeah.
challenged you.
And we clicked. And now he also reaped the benefits.
Of
total
course.
dedication, total focus, building his business, was possessed, lived and breathed the brand. That's what you have to do at that level. And that's what I did. And then we sold bagel chips to Nabisco in May of 1992.
So
Yeah.
this after how long were you there?
About 3.5 years.
That's
It was
it.
quick. It was quick.
Wow.
So you
Almost 4
scaled
years.
his business.
Yes.
Pretty much.
You scaled it. You
Yes,
You
yes.
scaled
Very,
it.
very proud of the
Can you
job
say
I did.
what it was sold
Yeah,
for?
can you say that?
Yeah, it was sold for about 20 million. But
Nice.
back then,
Yeah.
That's a lot back then,
Actually,
yeah.
Christy Brown bought the company. Then you're going to say to me, Aldo, who's Christy Brown?
I'm going to say
Right.
that to you for sure. I'm like,
Christy
who's that?
Brown is at the time, I don't know if it still is the Canadian version of Nabisco. So in Canada, instead of Nabisco Oreo cookies, it says Christy Brown Oreo cookies.
Oh, no way.
So the
Oh,
Canadian
okay.
version of Nabisco purchased the New York style bagel chips.
That is fucking
It's pretty wild,
amazing.
pretty wild. I mean, I was still in my mid-20s at that point, and I had like this accelerated path of success,
Yeah.
and it was pretty cool. But it was also sad when we sold it. Okay,
That's a good point.
Because you're like, what am I going to do
what
now?
am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Totally.
So then what happened? So did you get like a little?
What happened was Nabisco hired me. And
No.
yeah, and which I respected. That was very nice. I don't want to work for a large company. So for a short time,
Because why?
the structure, the environment. I'm more of an asset when I'm just let go and free, versus being in a
Micromanaged,
structure. Yeah,
they,
it's not my personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So a gentleman, he's since passed away, really nice man named Steve Bernard. He was the founder of Cape Cod potato chips.
Oh, no way.
Everyone knows that.
I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went up to Cape Cod, and he was launching a new crouton company. And I left Nabisco, went with him. I helped build that up for him. It was successful. And then we got to the tail end of that, and he hadn't sold it yet, but I took it as far as I could. And he was a very nice man. And I decided that I really didn't want to do that anymore. Now, as that all was happening, the same two people that I did the bagel chips with, they reached out to me. and they said, we have this plastic bottle bank, and we're going to fill it with popcorn, big bottle, like a piggy bank. But we want to put logos on the front. And we don't know much about sports, Aldo, but we know that you do. We want to put the Yankee logo and this logo. So I say goodbye to Steve. We had a nice run. I went back with the original people that hired me. And I went and got the licenses from the NHL, from baseball, the NFL.
How'd you do that?
I was gonna say, how do you even?
I pick up the phone. I made an appointment. I went to New York City, and I met the license people in New York City.
Okay.
And you had to convince them in the meeting.
I went and got Elvis Presley's license in Memphis. We had a guitar. I went and got back then. I was hanging out with Goldberg and Sting and Reno. I hang out with all these guys because we had this novelty item. We were making a good living doing that, but it wasn't like earth shattering. Okay, because how many bottle banks can you sell?
Right.
But as we're doing the bottle banks, his wife invented in her kitchen this item that she came in a Ziploc bag in 2002, I believe it was. And the item was a flat pretzel. And
Get out.
it was
You know the flat pretzel?
Yes.
I don't know.
it was a flat pretzel.
So she's pretty fucking smart.
She's very
smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. And she said, you think you could do what you did with the bagel chips with the pretzel
Yes,
crisp?
very thin. Yeah.
Yeah, very thin.
Yes.
Now, it took 2 years to figure out how to make it in the kitchen to mass produce it. In those 2 years, we kept selling the bottle banks. My daughter's born 2004. Pretzel Crisp was born 2004. My friend, my buddy Adam, Hoboken, New Jersey, we do the packaging in his apartment. To this day, even if they rebranded it, there's pinstripes on the packaging because I'm a Yankee fan. To this day.
Get.
Yeah. So now,
Fucking great
I was gonna say,
backstory.
get out. Yeah.
it was wild. So 2004, Pretzel Crisp is born. My daughter is born. First year, we do about $7 million in sales. And
from the packaging in the apartment in the
Yeah.
apartment.
And her in the kitchen.
And her in the
him
kitchen. So
selling
this is
it.
like
it took us 2 years
homegrown.
to figure out
Yeah.
how to manufacture it, find the right company that can make the product for us.
And where are you
package
manufacturing it?
We started in Pennsylvania. That didn't work. We had a breakage issue. Then we ended up in Wisconsin with this great company that's kind of solved the breakage issue, and that's
Oh, so the crisps were breaking in the bag?
they were breaking in the bag.
Upon arrival.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here was the biggest hurdle with that item. If you went down the grocery aisle, they sell a giant bag of pretzels for 99 cents. We were going to be sold in the deli section for 6 ounces for $3.99, $3.99, $4.99.
So it's
higher
it's
up. Way more expensive.
Right.
So let me go back really quick. The bagel chips we put in the deli section. Why? We pioneered snacks in the deli section. Back then, the only snacks in the deli section were no snacks. It was just meat and cheese. All the snacks were in the Frito-Lay aisle, right? To get in that aisle, $100,000, $200,000, $50,000. We didn't have that kind of money.
Right.
In the deli, no charge.
No
charge because they never did it before.
Because they couldn't
Because
even
they
give
couldn't
that
tell you
space
what it
away.
would. Yeah, they couldn't give us.
We convinced them because there's a big spoilage issue in the deli. They throw a lot of meats and cheeses away after the day. I said, so now carry this item, the bagel chip.
It's gonna last.
It'll last 1 year shelf life.
Oh,
make it for all your spoils.
Shit.
So we pioneered that across
Oh
the whole
my
United
God,
States.
is this not fucking
That is-
unbelievable?
Pretty
That
wild.
is brilliant.
So when we came out with the pretzel crisp, I went back to the same people. Now, they said, Aldo, they're selling 99 cents. This is where relationships came in. Okay, you know what? We're going to give you a shot because we know you, got to like you, and the item is pretty good. And that's how it started. And people gravitated to the pretzel crisp. Pretty phenomenal. And then it built and built. And then after year 5 or 6, we took on an investor, and they were tremendous partners in 2009. And then in 2012, the company was sold. Now remember, I just told you 2004, first year, $7 million in sales.
Right.
In 2012, the company, and it's public knowledge,
That's 5 years later.
was sold to companies 2004. So 8 years was the longevity of the company with the investment firm for 3-4 years. We sold to Snyder's of Hanover for $340 million.
Whoa.
Which it made a lot of people, changed a lot of people's lives. It was really fascinating. From an item that came in a Ziploc bag Took us a couple years to figure out how to mass produce
And then
it.
went into the deli section.
Yeah, and
Packaged in your friend's,
right, exactly.
in your friend's house with pinstripes.
Right, exactly. From the
Pinstripe.
Yankees colors.
Right.
to
and one of
selling
the part
this-
I'm leaving out was I didn't have a normal life. All my friends are playing softball. I was averaging almost 200 flights a year every year.
How old are you at this point?
At this point in 1992, we sold the bagel. I was 25, 35, 36
Okay.
years old.
Right.
I'm averaging, landing in airports, getting
That's
rent-a-cars.
very
There were no
gruesome.
driver services. We couldn't afford to do that.
Right.
And so 200 flights a year, not flying first class, always in
Right.
coach,
Right.
watching the expenses. So I did that aggressively for all those years.
So you're flying like every other day.
Yeah, and entertaining. Monday night dinner in Seattle with customers. Tuesday night dinner in Portland. Wednesday night dinner in San Francisco. Thursday night Los
Wait, okay, so you're saying different states,
Every
and you're
state.
going.
Meetings.
Wait, I just caught
No,
that.
yeah,
so you're.
When you're flying 200 times, you're
No,
all
so
over
I'm
the
so
fucking
I'm trying
country.
to I'm trying
Go
to
to
figure it
all
out. So
different
Monday
states.
night dinner with customers, and then you're gonna leave and get
Every-
on a flight early in the
Every
morning.
every day was meetings and dinners at night. Every day, every night. Nonstop.
So you land and have like 5 hours to get ready for another dinner. That's
Yeah.
And now, by the fifth, sixth night, those buyers look forward to me coming to town.
Yeah, they
it
want
was,
you
It was
to-
a break from their life, from the kids. Hey, Aldo's coming to town. Yeah, meanwhile, it's my fifth night in a row.
So you have to be on, though. You need to be on.
I had to be on. I had to be Michael Jordan.
Wow,
I had
that's
to have an off game.
fucking grueling.
And you had to watch the drinking. You can't be dragging. I was younger, had more energy, so to speak.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it was.
and they didn't care that you were coming from your fourth night out.
No,
they didn't know,
no.
or they didn't
They don't
care.
know,
They
they
don't
don't
know. They don't
care.
care.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fun,
we're gonna
Aldo.
be fun, Aldo.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, let's go.
So that was pretty intense, and then following the sale of the Pretzel Crisp, 2013, Snyder's had hired me. I accepted the position, and then I decided to go on my own. In 2013, I had some people pushing me, some good people pushing me to go on my own. And so door number one was stay with Snyder, security, health benefits. Door number two was start my entire company all on my own and see where I could take it. And
And you could fail on, you could fall on your fucking
I could
face.
fail.
Of course,
I
yeah.
put some money that I got from the sale of the Pretzel Crisp
Yeah.
into that business.
Yeah.
It could have failed.
Right.
I hired a really good team. I had a really good team, and that was very important. You can't do everything yourself. With the Pretzel Crisp, I was the only sales guy. I lived and breathed the brand, and when I started my own brand, I lived and breathed the brand.
Of course.
And then I eventually put a team around me of great people, and made sure everyone was taken care of properly, especially in the back end if we ever sold the company.
So did you feel your team was living and breathing the way you did for the prior brand?
Yeah, well, listen, no one's going to be me. I don't say that in an arrogant way
Right.
by any
No,
means.
yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
when you start something and
100% agree.
it's your baby
Right.
from that standpoint. But I would say that the majority of the people that I hired understood how they had to be. They had to measure up to the level. And they did.
And
they
did you like hold their feet to the fire? How were you as a boss? How were you running shit?
Yeah, well,
This is the first time you're running shit. How are you running
yeah,
shit?
it's a whole different. I'll tell you this. The brand first was a product called Dippin' Chips, which is kind of like a Tostitos
Yeah,
Scoops.
I know that.
Because you need a product, right?
Right.
And the guy that was making the pretzel crisp for us said, I can make this for you, Aldo. So that's how I started my own business with that. And the first year and a half or so, it took off. It was very successful. But the entire time, I wanted to do a cheese item. The Dippin' Chips was kind of like a place mark. And I wanted to get into the cheese item, a protein snack and whatever. So that's how kind of we've evolved into the Parm Crisps. And then we only had so much resources that we could use, so we had to make a decision. So we kind of faded out the Dippin' Chips. But all that real estate that I gained with the Dippin' Chips, I put the Parm Crisps on the shelves in all the stores. I just substituted it in. And that worked out really, really well. Obviously, it took off again in a deli section.
Wow.
So that became your niche area, the deli section.
Right, the deli section became my niche, 100%.
And I feel like
So
if
you
I'm-
like reinvented that whole fucking
Yeah,
deli
because
section.
I'm thinking like if I'm a consumer in a grocery store and I have already passed the snack aisle and I didn't get anything there
Right.
because there's a lot of information online now. You want to avoid those big aisles with the big bags of
Right.
chips and blah blah blah.
Right.
So you pass those and you're like, okay, I'm doing really well right now. And then you get into the deli aisle and you see something a little unexpected.
Yeah.
And your perception is already that it's healthier because
Yeah.
it is healthier because there's more requirements to get
Yeah.
to that level. And then you become a consumer of that product.
And one more, that's well said. And one more thing. If you go in the snack aisle, what do you see? 50 items. Go in the deli section,
Yeah.
is more of a spotlight on the few items that are there.
Absolutely.
So that worked in our favor. So one thing I didn't bring up, the entire time, once I got comfortable on the road, I knew what I was doing, I made all my appointments around the sports schedules of the New York Rangers, New York Yankees.
No, you
What?
did.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If I'm going to be in the city having a meeting, then that night, why not take customers to the game rather than go to dinner?
Oh, smart.
So that's so all the Ranger games,
And then you
Nets
fulfill
games.
your passion as well.
That's
amazing.
right. And it was tremendous to see all different buildings. I've been to nearly every building of 4 major sports across the whole country.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
Have you seen Jordan live?
Yeah, many times. The original Chicago Stadium, the United Center. I've been to hockey games in the old stadium in Chicago.
Damn.
Yeah, Gretzky and Edmonton, all that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Kobe, many times. It was just a fascinating.
You're passionate about the sports.
Here's what was funny
Dr.
though.
J.
Not Dr. J. Not Dr.
You're
J.
right,
Date you.
Not Dr.
That
J.
would date you.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I love Dr. J, bro.
What one funny thing is when I had the boss, especially with Pretzel Crisp, if the team makes the playoffs, like I forget Rangers were playing in Ottawa one year, and I'm like, how am I gonna get to Ottawa? So there's a Costco buying division. Costco has 8 buying divisions in the United States. Then they have 2 buying divisions in Canada, Vancouver and Ottawa. So I sent an email to the buyer. I go, can you send me an email back saying we have an appointment on this day? So
Just to do
she
that.
sends me a fresh
Stop.
email.
I love that. I love that. I would have done
And my
that.
boss says, what a coincidence that the same day the Rangers are there.
Should we just meet there?
Because he caught on to what I was doing.
Right.
The same day the Rangers, for a playoff game, you have to be in Ottawa. What a coincidence.
What am I going to do,
That's
boss?
it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that,
Well, I'm going to close the deal, and I'm sure you close the deal.
because that, of course. And then
Right.
that way, everything was expensed because it was a business expense.
Right.
I'd have to pay for it myself to go to the game.
Right.
So that was
Right.
kind of
That's really
cool.
smart.
That was a
Right.
little perk that
Yeah.
I kind of gave myself doing all those flights. I mean,
Yeah.
for nearly 36 years, I averaged nearly 200 flights a year for 36
That
years.
is-
Yeah.
My record was in 2017, 449 flights on United Airlines.
Wow.
The president called me up. United honored me.
Really?
It was, yeah, he really did.
That's amazing.
In Newark Airport, it was pretty wild.
I have so many questions. I'm going to go back a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
You mentioned something about you living, breathing, and sleeping the brand that you worked for previously when your boss said, I'm going to give you a 90-day
Yeah.
kind of
That was his
probation
first
period.
job.
I lived the
I
bagel
want-
chips and
yes.
lived the pretzel crisp.
My
Yeah.
question is, how, if you were speaking to smaller businesses today,
Yeah.
how do they find people like that? What did you see in your boss
Yeah.
that made you want to be that way?
Great question.
I think the most, I always tell people when my wife sort of went to Penn State, we went there a few years ago, and she had told everyone I was an entrepreneur. And now I'm at a Penn State tailgate, I'm smoking cigars, I'm drinking, and like 15 guys from the business fraternity come over. I felt like I was in a seminar. They're asking me 100 questions.
Yeah.
I said, what makes a great salesman? And I say kiddingly, but in a way it's true. You gotta have a really good item. If you have a good item, that helps. Now, let's say you have an average item. The thing that I prided myself on was follow-up. A lot of people don't follow up these days. Oh, I'll get back to you on Tuesday. But you know what? You better damn well get back on Tuesday if you say you're gonna do that. So my follow-up, even to this day, was like I was so into the follow-up. And part 2. Let's say the buyer did give me the order and they said what they were going to do. I would handwrite, and to this day I still do it. I handwrite a thank you card and I would FedEx it to them. That way it didn't get lost in the mail, especially the big accounts. I'd mail some of them, but the bigger accounts, write them a handwritten thank you card for giving me the first order and giving me a chance to be in your stores. And I would often would Federal Express it to them because no one else did that, and that would stand out. So there's little things that I just adapted to, and no one told me to do that. I just went and did it on my own.
So in
that's very
terms of
personable.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
What did you see in your boss that made you want to kind of run through a wall from?
We were on the same page from a standpoint of wanting the success, and I was naturally driven on top of it. And you know when they say, love what you do, I really loved what I did. And I still love what I do. I really did. And so that played a lot into it. When you love what you do, listen, we all can't be a professional baseball or hockey player, right? That would be my first choice, be a professional athlete.
Right.
So that was his too.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Okay, I'm not smart enough to be a nuclear physicist. So, okay.
I can't even spell that.
Right, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
So you may be.
So sales was definitely in my DNA.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just gravitated to it, and to this day, it really worked out well. But when I do speak to people who ask me about that, I just say, breathe it, live it, follow up, passion, make yourself stand out. Don't be over aggressive where you're annoying someone either. There's that fine line, that fine line. But I've done some crazy things. There was an account in San Antonio called HEB Supermarkets, and this buyer.
Oh, I've heard of them.
This buyer, they won't even pretzel crisps. So I got permission from my boss. I got a billboard. I found out his route to work, and I bought a billboard so he would see my brand.
Get out.
Yeah. And then here's how we got the account. True story. I go to San Antonio. I have a good friend there. There was a Nets game there at the time, and my friend had great seats. That night, we had a crazy party, and I overdid it a bit. And I also had a girl at this point that was working with me, and we had a 12 o'clock lunch with the buyer. And
It's an early lunch.
I show up. I'm like 38% physically.
Right.
His name was Doug. Great guy.
So you're 62% drunk.
That's very low. I have to say that's very low for physically appearing somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And let me tell you something. I never would have done that. But I knew getting the account was like $1 million to one shot. So I'm like, okay, I'm having a good time with all my friends
it's like
here.
whatever. I'll show up. I show
all
up.
my friends are with the New Jersey Nets. All my buddies.
Yeah.
Jason
Stuff.
Kidd and stuff like that?
Yeah,
I
I got to know Jason really well, and a lot of people in the broadcasting team. And to this day, they're friends. Yeah. So I go to lunch, and you can ask Amy, who was with me that day, who worked with me. I said, listen, I'm really hungover. I'm shot. I have a great product. It sells everywhere. You guys haven't bought the product. I don't know why you're not buying the product. I'm not blaming you, Doug. You just took on the desk 6 months ago.
You just got here.
So if you're not going to buy it and you don't care, I'm going to go back to bed.
That's what 38% showing up physically.
That's it. I really said that. I wasn't being a jerk.
That's it.
And he goes, why don't you stay for the entire lunch? He became a friend. He put my product in. And the rest was history.
I think
True
he
story.
wanted to see if you were going to vomit or not.
No, I
during
know.
lunch.
Because I might have to say 38%.
He's like, oh, he didn't vomit.
Right.
I'm going to buy it.
I was
38%
tired.
is still considered drunk
tired.
the next day.
I was tired. So that was so there are a lot of cool stories like that meeting all these people in all these years. So while I did sacrifice, I sacrificed going to stuff for my daughter, missing soccer games and missing stuff like that. Yeah, look at that angle, which I will never do again, obviously. But I think I made it up to her, and I will keep doing that. I also not hang out with my friends, not going to playing softball leagues, all that kind of stuff, because I was on the road since I was 22 years old.
Right.
Until
It takes incredible discipline.
it only stopped because of COVID. I was 200 flights a year up until COVID. So like 30 some odd years of nonstop, intense traveling, dinners, entertaining, being on, follow up, all that kind of stuff.
So let me ask you, before we get to how it stopped with COVID, when you were in this, were you just, a lot of times entrepreneurs, because I'm sitting between two of them, they'll say you put your head down and you do the work. Was that what it was like for you?
Yeah.
And you said that you enjoyed what you did.
Yeah.
But was it very much like, I'm putting my head down, I have a meeting here, I'm doing this? was there any time where you kind of sat back and enjoyed your accomplishments?
Yes. I fun is my middle name, and there's no doubt about it. I definitely enjoyed the accomplishments. But let me tell you another quick, scary story. I start my own company, the Dip and Chips. I leave the Pretzel Crisp. Our first shipment, I think, was in May, around Memorial Day.
What year is this?
2013.
Okay.
I get a phone call from Costco. Costco put my product in right away because of my relationships, and they liked the item. They found a razor blade in the bag.
Get the fuck.
Yeah, found a razor blade in the bag. I'm like, I should have stayed with the Pretzel Crisp. I should have stayed. I shouldn't have done this my own company.
So what were you, shaving one day?
I was literally never. I was not expecting that at all.
Right. So
when you get that call, you're like,
your
what?
company could be over.
Totally.
Here's what happened.
Shit.
So I said, well, what kind of razor blade is it? And we got the razor blade, and and then I talked to my buyer at Costco. I said, when they opened the stretch wrap in the warehouses at Costco,
They dropped it.
it was a Costco blade. It was a Costco fault.
Thank God it was.
And
that.
they were professional enough to acknowledge that. And I said, listen, it's done. It's over with. It was a mistake.
They could have ruined you right
It
They
now.
could have
happens.
literally. They could have
Yep.
just said,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Oh
it's on
my
you.
God.
And they said, okay. And it went away. But in the moment, I thought my company was done before
Right.
I even got to first base.
Yeah,
Right.
that's.
So all that happened the last 2 years, selling it,
Right.
and
So how did you scale your company?
that might not have happened. So when you start a company, say, you have to make sure you have enough production, right? Because if you start getting all these sales orders and you can't ship, then you're letting everyone down. So we had to pace ourselves, which we did. And it just kind of evolved, and we grew, and we forecasted correctly. And then when I got into the Palm Crisp, we got our own factory. We opened it up in York, Pennsylvania. And then you know what happened?
And this is what time period now?
2017, 18, when the
Okay.
COVID. So the Dip and Chips faded out, Palm
Yeah.
Crisp faded in, took on an investor, which was a great partner, really nice people,
Private equity people?
private equity people,
Yeah. Okay.
which took a lot of risk away from me. I still
Right.
owned a large percent of the company,
Right.
but I put some cash in my pocket.
Right.
Everyone,
So
the company
what
shared
made
with
what
that.
made you decide to do that?
They made me an offer I couldn't refuse,
Okay.
as
They
say
came
in
to
The
you.
Godfather.
Yeah. They,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
And did you feel you needed like that fire, that fuel
No,
to
a buddy
to
of
grow
mine.
it?
No, I said no 5 times. I said no 5 times. I said no. I don't want to sell anything. I want to keep it all. And they kept going up and up, and it got to a point where if I didn't say yes, then I was foolish from a financial standpoint. I had to,
Right.
plus it took a lot of liability away from me. So
Right.
I'm still running the show, still chairman of the board, still
Right.
my company, but it was the right move to make. And then when we got our own factory in York, Pennsylvania for the Palm Crisp, COVID hit. They shut the factory down.
Oh, they shut the factory down.
We had to.
Oh, shit.
COVID.
Right.
So now, Palm Crisp, which we're doing great, now it's on hold.
That's interesting because they kept the grocery stores open, so I figured that
Yes,
they
but
would.
here's what happened. They call up, they go, they wanted the essential items. Milk, water, meat. You know,
Liquor. You could go to
I
a
mean,
liquor
honestly,
store.
the liquor stores, hello,
Right.
we're
Liquor's
open.
essential.
so fortunately, again, because my relationships, they still were buying my product, and it slowed down considerably. We got through that, fortunately. We got through that. You know, in the middle of that whole story I just said, I got into the cookie business also. I was at a Sam's Club meeting, and they were thin cookies at the time were very popular. And the buyer had said, you know, our manufacturer is not shipping on time, and can you make a thin cookie? And I knew some people that knew people, and the same guy that did the packaging with the pinstripes, and made a package called Mrs. Thinsters. That's the original name I wanted for the Palm Crisp. I wanted the name Thinsters for the thin cracker, Palm Crisp. But when Sam's Club said, "Can you make me a cookie? Do you have a logo?" We said, "Yeah, I have a logo," and we just showed them that.
So you didn't even
We showed them that.
You just, yeah,
I love
sure,
it.
yeah, I have a logo.
They liked it.
Yeah.
They liked it. We found a manufacturer in the St. Louis area that can make cookies, and that's how I got in the cookie business. So that was like a portion of our business, 10-15%. It was, to this day, the brand still lives.
So you
Same-
kind of
same-
threw that together.
Yeah, I was
though.
gonna say same
That was-
factory, same.
No, different
No.
factory,
Oh.
whole different whole different.
How did you
story.
throw that
Goodness,
together?
yeah.
So
How do you
quickly?
even? Yeah.
It just came natural to me. I can't explain it. And I had a good team. I had some good people at this point that I hired that I could delegate to that really came through for me. So I could give them full credit for that. Yeah. So then COVID happened. We got through COVID, fortunately.
When COVID happened, how did it affect your business?
Yeah. Well, it affected our business when supermarkets stopped buying the product, and then the person that was making our packaging, person that makes our boxes, they couldn't ship us the boxes. They couldn't ship us the packaging.
Oh,
so the entire
shit.
operation,
Everything just shut down.
It broke down. We couldn't make product. We had no bags.
And you're the top person that everyone's calling. Like, what's going on? Do we have a job? Like, do we produce? Do we not? What do we do?
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure at that point.
So how long were you like shut?
That was like almost a year.
A year.
A year.
It was like almost a year that we were stumbling. We were stumbling.
That's longer than I
And
thought.
we were stumbling through that, and we persevered through it. We just thank God we kept the focus.
Were you able to keep your entire staff on?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yes, for the most. And then anyone that we had to get rid of, we brought back.
Okay, that's awesome.
The majority we brought back. And then Palm Crisp started flying off the shelves.
Why?
Then
Why?
Now with a snack mix,
Okay.
which was a big deal. Snack mix with a cheese item inside.
So you had like a category killer.
So we had the snack mix. That's exactly right. That's good, John. I like that. Category killer. so we come out with the snack mix, and people really gravitated to it, and that really helped catapult the company at that point. And then people started looking at us and inquiring about us, and then it got to a point where, you know what, maybe we should explore putting it up for sale, which is, again, it's exciting, but having been through it with the bagel chips, having been through it with the pretzel crisp, it's sad. And because when you sell, then you say goodbye to
It
everybody.
feels kind of
You
empty,
say
right?
goodbye to everybody.
Right.
And it's definitely a joyous moment, but also a sad moment.
So when people are looking to acquire you,
Yeah.
are you having conversations with your private equity team?
So,
Or are they in
yeah.
charge? Are you in charge?
Yeah.
Is
So
it-
what happened
how's that?
was, the process is you hire a specialist that does mergers and acquisitions, and we interviewed a number of them, like 5 of them, who thinks they do the best job for us, and they act like as the broker, and they get a percentage of the sale, and then the investment firm and myself and my team, we picked the one that we thought was best, and then you go through a whole process of then they go out and find people that are interested in buying your company, and you put together like a loose leaf book, a story of your company. You put a story together, and you send that book out to all these people, and then you wait for the bids to come in, and that's like it's like a week. And you're like,
That's a little
did anyone-
nerve-wracking,
did
right?
anyone make a bid? Anyone
Right.
make a bid?
Anybody care about me?
Does anyone hear
Right,
about my
right.
story? Right,
So-
yeah.
so-
It's almost like a dating service.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
was
is.
while
It's
you-
you're putting your profile out there,
Yeah.
and you're waiting for someone to
you put this
swipe.
you put this book out there with all your financials, and you sent it out there to people that asked about it, and then you wait for the bids. And
And how are you feeling?
I was
like
gonna
this?
say,
Yeah.
it definitely
pretty
was
personal.
Well, yeah, it's very personal, very exciting. It's mixed emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It
It's
really
almost
is.
like you're standing there like naked.
Yeah, it's really.
know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, I've been through this a few times. You have to strike when the iron's hot, so to speak, and you have to sell at the right time, and you hope it's the right time. Like with anything in life, do you sell your house now? Do you keep your house? Will it be worth more in 5
And
years?
there's criticism as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
When it
Right.
you're
Sure.
selling your house,
And you
they're
can
like, we
leave
didn't
money
like.
on the table.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they come back and they say, we like this, we don't like this.
Yeah.
Why did you do
and
that?
Then,
Okay.
and then your team's getting nervous. Oh, Aldo, you're selling the company?
Where's
Am I
my
gonna-
job?
Am I going to
Yeah.
have a job when it's sold? I don't know. You might with the new people. I don't know who the new people are yet. Yeah, because I was on that side too. But I have a job, so
So some
I've been
people
on both
leaving.
sides.
Some people leaving.
Some people left. Some people stayed.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it kind of just disintegrates. But everyone was taken care of, which I really was happy about. When
So how long did it take you? So
2013, the company started, and we sold the company at December 2021.
so how many people put bids in?
There were about 5 bids
Okay.
that came in, ranging in different amount of money.
Uh-huh.
And then those 5 people, then you do the in-person meetings at that point. Now you
And are you involved in
you
that?
sit in a conference room.
Yeah.
So I was involved in the beginning, and then after that, the person I hired that I made president and my VP of sales I hired, they handled all the meetings. And part of the reason for that is they were going to go with the new company, whoever bought them.
Got it.
Okay, they were gonna stay on.
I was not going with the new company.
Right.
So I wanted those people to get to know the people, and they were also hands-on with the company at that point. They knew everything that was going on.
Right.
Smart people. And so that's why I was involved in all that kind of stuff.
That's
why.
interesting.
Yeah. So I just sat back and how'd the meeting go and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
You kind of get the notes from what happened.
Yeah.
And then, like, who makes the final decision?
The final decision on our sale was made by the investment firm. Yeah, they made they made the final decision, and of course they came to me and some other people in my company, and we said, this is the best offer, this is the most solid offer. We don't think they're going to back out, and this is one I think we should take, and that's what happened.
And then
it's
do
a
you
wild
say,
process.
do you say yes, I agree, or
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes the highest offer is not the best offer.
Right.
Because you don't know how solid their money is. Is it
Right.
cash? Is it half in stock? Is it half in money?
Right.
You know, we wanted all cash pretty much.
so this is all cash?
Yeah, it was a cash. We didn't want. I didn't want stock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want stock.
Right.
So that's kind of
So who wound up buying you guys?
a company called Hain Celestial.
Okay.
I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. They have a whole food platform. And
They have like a tea as well, because I see it.
They have a lot of products.
They have a lot of
products.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a whole platform of products.
Yeah.
And actually, my VP of sales is still working for them.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's amazing.
There are some people that are still working for them.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
which
cool.
is nice.
That
keep
means
in
that they were
contact
good.
with
They were
them?
good people.
Yeah, so
because
it worked out for them, and they're happy. And other people left, and other people are working at different companies. And anyone that used me as a what's the term? A recommendation.
Yeah.
Testimonial. I would speak to the people who call me. How was this employee? Like, all positive.
That's
that's good.
amazing.
Yeah, because they deserved it. They
So
deserved it.
then this sale was consummated when?
When did it happen?
Yeah.
No, December 2021.
what are we in right now?
21.
This is
Okay.
22, 23.
This
This is
So like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what have you been doing the last year and a half?
So I was a bum for a little while. Well, you know, basically,
A wealthy bum.
well, I was so intense. I'm nearly 60 years old. So intense since I was 22 years old, not taking vacations, you know, that type of thing. And I just had to like completely decompress. I had to really decompress, and that's what I did.
So you did like 75 weeks of vacationing.
I did a lot of Italy.
I mean, good for you.
I'm Italian.
Honestly, I mean, going from
and a
22.
ton of time with my daughter, my wife,
Yeah.
and my close friends, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. And then I was presented an opportunity to be an investor
Yeah.
and be in the board and be part of a really cool new tea item,
Oh,
which is right here.
yes, we got it right here.
Real RYL, and this
This
item.
is what is in our vodka tonight.
That's
I
right.
was gonna say
Yeah.
I like it.
This
I like
started in January, so this is a baby. So you heard my stories of all these companies.
So you have a new baby.
So this is a baby right now. Now,
January of this year.
yes, January
Can
2023.
you hand me that one so,
So
I
we're
can see what?
talking 10 months ago.
The founder is a 28-year-old Kosovo refugee. Forbes did a whole article on him. I often
No
say
way.
to him, he's become a close friend. Love the guy. Super intelligent. He kind of reminds me of the character Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
That's how he
Yes.
is.
Okay.
His work ethic is off the charts. A lot of young kids today have no work ethic,
Right.
self-entitlement. I have no patience for that. He is the opposite. He's amazing. And his grandmother got him into tea when he was younger, and the refugee and all that kind of thing. And so this is what I'm doing now. And then we got very fortunate that there was a country singer that really liked our item. And you can go to his site and stuff.
Is he on TikTok?
Is Morgan Wallen on TikTok.
Oh.
Morgan is now part of our company.
No way.
And
Congratulations.
we made his own tea for him.
Oh, you should put his face
Yeah,
on
you
one side.
did?
We made his own, and his
What
name.
do I know about
his
packaging?
name?
I don't.
His name is on the tea, You can buy it at Amazon.
Oh, we gotta
Morgan
get some of
Wallen
those.
sweet tea. I'm excited about this. The tea is a competitive category.
0 calories, 0 total fat, 0 sodium. I love the zeros
So
all
it's
the way
pretty
down.
much all natural.
Remember this moment tonight, on
Totally.
October 18th, 2023, 10 months old. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now,
Yeah.
where this brand is.
So what is
gonna be
the
big.
end game for this?
Build it, and hopefully someone comes along, likes it, and would like to purchase it.
Dude, what a great story
Very
You have-
fortunate.
Yeah.
you have.
Amazing.
But you worked so fucking hard.
I worked really hard. An amazing mom and dad. Really great parents.
I have some questions.
wife and daughter.
I think there is this idea that we have of people that are successful in business
Mm-hmm.
that we cannot relate to. And a lot of the times we imagine a day in the life of a wealthy person to be so much different than ours.
Mm-hmm.
If you could describe your day in the life, do you just wake up and you're like, oh, I did a good job? Like, I don't have to, or is your day in the life a lot more humble than that?
So I grew up like totally middle class. So I still do pinch myself. And I also pride myself on being generous with my friends and my family. That's the first thing. Taking care of my brother, my friends. When I had the first big success, after that deal I made with after Pretzelkits was done, but after the deal I made with the investment firm, my dad had passed away, and he was in the mausoleum, and he was in the worst spot because that's all we could afford. He was up in the top corner, 2014. So I went to the mausoleum. My daughter was with me, and they knew my father very well. And I had to get permission from the mayor of Fort Lee. I said, I want my dad out of that spot, and I want him on the 50-yard line, the best spot in the mausoleum, and get one for my mom right next to him. It was very emotional.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's-
the church charged me like $17,000 to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a business. The church is a business.
Yeah.
And they took my dad out, and we said prayers, and my daughter was with me at the time. She happened to be in New Jersey, and I moved my dad, and my mom's next to him now. Yeah, so that was pretty wild. I was happy I could do that.
Yeah.
And then take care of my brother, also very important to me. And I love doing great things for my friends, because you want your friends with you, right? What good is if you're doing all this fun stuff and you don't have your friends or buddies with you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I love doing that. So I don't know if that answers your question. So
Yeah.
when I wake up, I'm still so involved with this now. I should go to the gym. That's my wife keeps telling me. That's one thing about being in what I did. I've gone up and down 100 pounds like a yo-yo. I go from like really
In weight, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ran 2 marathons.
I did
He's
2
run
marathons.
2 fucking New York City
and I never even
marathons.
trained for it. I just went out and ran it.
Right.
One year I did 3 hours and 40 minutes. Just went out. I signed
You
up.
ran 26 miles?
Yeah, I did 2
New York
marathons.
City marathons. 3 hours, 40 minutes.
So that
That's psychological.
loving the
That
fun.
is psychological.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
just I was just mentally I just did that. So that was pretty wild. But I'm still planning stuff. I'm a planner, that organizational type of guy. Friends ask me to help them with airfares and that kind of stuff. Like I'm a travel agent sometimes because I've done it so many years myself.
Yeah.
But was your question like, what is his mindset like
I
while he was in the grind?
I think a
or-
very, very
Okay.
good job answering it. Just people think a lot of times on social media, a lot of the comments under people who are successful, who they don't even realize worked hard, they're like, it must be nice to just wake up this way. And it's like,
So-
maybe they worked for it.
I'm 58, and this going to Italy, like that stuff didn't start like till I was 48, like 10 years ago. I wasn't doing this since I was 28. I didn't take any vacations. I'm not complaining. Everyone works hard. I don't deserve a medal for that. But up until I was 48, no, it was always. And then up until right till COVID, and then that's when it slowed down with the traveling for work. Yeah, and remember all those dinners I mentioned earlier?
Yeah,
There were some times I didn't want to be with those people.
Right.
Okay, they
Right.
might, they were fun, Aldo, but they weren't fun.
Right.
But I had to make believe.
That's so interesting. I saw
not be fake. But I
yeah,
just
you have to.
But it's almost like you're a
show.
performer.
You're a
It's a
performer.
show.
It's a show.
You're a performer. You
Yeah,
perform.
there
Yeah.
was some of that.
And
There
people,
is.
there's no empathy for the
Right. You
performer.
could be sick and you're like, oh, fuck. I have to get myself together, get up.
Yeah,
go out.
absolutely.
100%.
There's no empathy. You said that a lot of people in the younger generation are more entitled.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I'm old school. I'm old school regarding how to be a salesperson, how to go about your business, how to treat people, how to show respect. And I just don't think the younger generation, not all of them, but the majority, I don't think they have those same traits as people who are old school like myself. I just don't. And I did experience some of that with some of the people that we hired. And I'll give you a small example. I'd be on the sales calls every week with the sales team. And after a while, I wasn't on anymore because I was told I made people nervous. I was too tough. Because, well, I'll give you an example. So I saw a bill one time like for $300 for next day air of samples for a meeting from New Jersey to Seattle or Portland. And I said on the call, who spent $300? I just happened to catch it. How many times don't I catch it, right?
Right.
And I forgot who said, oh, it was me. I said, oh, how long did you know that you had the meeting? Oh, I knew 3 weeks in advance. And then you send the samples out next day air?
Next day air.
You're not sending out...
That's last minute.
You're not sending out cheese or meat.
Yeah.
I said, why didn't you send them out UPS ground
2
for
weeks ago.
$28 2 weeks ago? Silence. And then I get done with that, and later on, one of the people on the call, like, you rattled that person. He's all upset. You said you were mean to him. I wasn't mean.
No,
goodness,
you were
the
mean.
feelings
You
that
fucking
made-
called him
That
out.
made so much sense.
I'm
to me.
just giving you an example.
Yeah.
But if that
Of
was
what-
his own money, he would have cared.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
He didn't
So-
care about the company's money. He's like, whatever, it's $300.
And I'll go back to my original boss, and he taught me that. He taught me that, and that stuck with me. He goes, you might just say it's 300 here, 100 here, but over 12 months in a year, if you keep doing
insane.
that, it's going to affect your company.
Yeah.
So you must have that discipline on everything, whether it's $1 or it's $100.
See,
And it's a little obsessive, but
No, I
but
totally
it works.
agree.
See, I
It
see that a lot. A lot of times you see people who are more successful in business and the general public who's not.
Right.
They're like, they're so fiscal, or they're worried about nickeling and diming. And I'm like, that's how they make those good decisions all the time.
What is the old school saying? You worry about the nickels and dimes, and the dollars take care of themselves.
Yeah. And also the old school for me would take my employees out to Yankee games or Ranger game or dinners, and I'm going to spend time with them, and it was really nice. That's what made it even rougher when you sell, because you build those relationships,
And then it's kind of done
with the
for a little
team,
bit.
and then it's over.
I
It's
think
over.
of it like a season of filming an episode.
I'm
like
telling
a
you.
TV show, and then the
Yeah.
TV show's done, and then everyone goes their separate
Yeah,
ways.
Seinfeld was 9 years, ended, other shows, and then everyone goes their separate ways, and that's pretty much what happens in my business.
As someone of your level of success, what do you think about working from home now since the pandemic in terms of productivity, employees?
Yeah. I mean, everything's different now.
Bosses.
When I started, it was faxing was just coming out. I remember.
That's amazing.
I remember that my boss. I talked to you about the U.S. I talked to you about Canada. He also sent me to Australia and New Zealand. And back then, there was no cell phones or anything. So I spent about 2 weeks in Sydney and Australia setting up bagel chips in Australia. And it was pretty cool going to Australia, right?
Yeah, I would
It was
imagine.
great. And then what I would do is I would call him once every other day, or then I would write notes and I would fax him notes. And that's how we would communicate. And so that was pretty wild, And then I had the BlackBerry. As we evolved into the BlackBerry,
Right.
and I remember I didn't want to get rid of the BlackBerry because it had the keyboard. I didn't want to get an iPhone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
Was,
it. I didn't
yeah,
wanna get
because it was on the
No,
screen.
but
Yeah.
so when I started, think about that. Faxing was the curly paper.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the flat paper. It was
Yeah.
that facsimile paper.
Yeah.
What do you mean it?
It was a thin paper.
There was a
Oh,
thin
okay.
paper. So you don't remember.
No, I'm
No,
thinking.
she has no idea.
I was like,
there was
does
this
it
paper
spin over
that
or something?
would curl up when it would come out of the fax machine.
Yeah.
It wasn't like regular 8x10 white
Right.
paper.
It wasn't like
Oh, so it would go like this
it would curl just the way
on
it
the
curls
floor,
around the roll.
on the
It
floor, and
wasn't.
then it would go down.
It was like a plastic. It wasn't
Yeah,
even like
yeah.
Like
paper.
the
it was
British
paper
reading
thin.
like a
Yeah.
war letter, like
Yeah.
sure, and they
Yeah.
It was like that.
that's
The
what I'm
scrolls,
picturing.
like the scrolls.
Yeah, and then to follow up with buyers, I have to sit down and like type a letter out and I didn't have like an assistant or
Do you know how to
anything.
type?
I had to learn how to type.
Do you know how to type?
We all learn in school how to type. It kind of sticks with you from a standpoint.
Not for me.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know how to type.
So the follow-up letters are, dear Bill, here's the 5 points we discussed today, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. So you had to follow up all the time. No email. That didn't exist.
Wow.
So there was a lot of guerrilla marketing.
It was a ton
A
of
lot
guerrilla
of all
So
of
you
that.
do-
Wait, I'll tell you another funny story. When we had the pretzel crisp, I went to the Super Bowl. It was in Dallas, Pittsburgh versus I forgot who it was, and I had my buddy make me a hockey jersey of a pretzel crisp bag. So basically, I was walking around like I was a big
brilliant.
bag.
That is brilliant.
I was a big, and I did one for Dippin' Chips and Palm
That's
Crisp.
incredible.
Yeah. So I'm at the Super Bowl, and was it Ryan Seacrest, the guy? Yeah, he was on Good Morning. He was on the show with Kelly Ripa.
right. I think
Is that his
yes,
name?
Ryan Seacrest.
Yes.
Yes.
He was sitting
Yes.
right near me, and he goes, "Oh, I love those things, whatever."
He literally was sitting
Yeah,
next to you.
he was like a couple rows from me. I go, "Take a picture of me." He goes, "That I won't do," because he knows I had the jersey on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So now where my Ranger seats are on the Garden.
Yes.
So
Front row.
Front
row behind.
second row.
But right behind the goal.
Right behind the goal, where the Rangers shoot twice.
Yeah.
That's right. So when I came out with my own brands, I would wear the jersey because during the national anthem, the camera would always hit me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'd wear the jersey, and this guy from ESPN came down. Was it Ravel? His name was. I forgot his name was. Some big shot at ESPN. He came down to my seats, and he says, "Are you being paid to wear that shirt?" True story.
What?
And I said, "No. Why are you wearing that? You're at a hockey game." I said, "This is my company, and I can't afford to do TV and radio, so I'm wearing
So
it.
smart.
I'm wearing this because
Yeah.
my seats, I'm on TV a lot." He goes, "Well, that's kind of, cheesy, isn't it?" I go, "Let me ask you a question. Where's the press box?" Where'd you go? "Oh, I was up there." "Oh." And you
Right.
came all
Right.
the way
I
down
was gonna say.
to come and tell me that.
I love it.
Think about that.
Right.
That's what I said
That's
to him.
advertising,
I go,
bro.
think about that.
I love
Did
it.
you notice it? That's why you're here. True story. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And what did he say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
but-
goes
He's like, oh, I'm a dick.
He goes, that's,
I'm the dick.
he actually did a post or something, and he gave me like exposure.
Oh, I
That's cool.
love
yeah,
that.
It was really, really nice. Now, I wore that same shirt at the U.S. Open. It was the old Louis Armstrong court. And every day, me and my friends, we all wear the shirts. And I get a tap on the shoulder, and my seats were right behind the server in Louis Armstrong Stadium. And I got a tap from the Tennis Association's lawyer. I said, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "Come with me. He pulls me in the back. I go, "What's up?" Now, I had a few drinks in me at the time, so I'd make sure I control my temper.
38%.
I'm like, what are you bothering me for?
What was I gonna say?
He
You
goes,
were
listen to me.
disturbing the
He goes,
server?
IBM pays $20 million. JP Morgan pays $30 million a year. You can't be sitting there advertising. I go, wait a second. People come with their logo.
They wear whatever they
He goes, oh,
want.
yes, a little logo on the corner. You're a walking billboard. You're a walking billboard. And I'm not going to fight the USTA Association. So I said, okay. I said, no problem. I get it. I said, give me your card, whatever. I sent him samples. The guy became my friend. The guy became my friend.
He was wearing it to the next U.S.
Turned out
Open.
to be he turned out to be a really nice guy, and he was just doing his job, and I totally respected it, and we didn't wear the jerseys anymore. But we did get a lot of airtime
Do you-
until he
Of
told
course.
us to stop.
I
You
am
still have
so-
those jerseys?
I still have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you have them?
They're in my closet.
I feel like though you
Yeah,
should
exactly.
be able to just wear. I'd be like, what is the problem? It's just
That's
like
amazing.
IBM pays $20 million a year
Well,
to advertise here.
they're the boss there at the U.S. Open, so that's what happened. So I did everything I possibly could to promote my brands, and it was
Right.
pretty cool.
And so you run it till the wheels fall off with promoting, and then
Yeah.
they say to you,
Yeah.
"Listen, you can't do that here."
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
even have I made the hockey jerseys with the T. So I take all the brands I've been
no
involved
way.
with.
You did?
I make hockey
Dude,
jerseys.
I need to send me
Yes,
one.
yes.
I mean, yeah, we'll wear it.
Okay.
And then they'll have to just get 3 people in trouble. They'll be like,
Totally.
wait, there's one over there. No, there's another one over there. We're just gonna
Yeah.
sit in
We'll be
different
in the
sections.
cheap seats,
Right, we'll be in the
though.
cheap
Yeah.
seats.
They
Like, you
won't
can't do
even come
that. Right. Like, you know what? Forget about it. No one's
Yeah.
gonna see that. If someone is close to your position in the earlier years and they want to sell their company, what are 5 tips that you would give to the person wanting to sell, and what are 3 to 5 tips that you would give the buyer?
Okay, so
Wow.
tips if you want to sell.
Yes.
Well, try to be profitable, and that's important. Got to show a trajectory that your sales are going up.
Okay.
No one wants to buy a company that the sales are going down.
Does no one want to invest in a company that sales are not happening, or no one wants to buy a
It
company where
depends
sales? Okay.
what you can show them on what the future might be.
Okay.
Right? You show them a forecast. And is the forecast going to turn out to be what you project it's going to be? So you got to be profitable. You got to show a trajectory that's going up. You have to show velocity, meaning at the store, are you selling 2 bags a week in the store? Or are you selling 22 bags a week in the store? They want to see that data. They want to see that data and how quickly it's selling. So how quickly are the stores
Turnover.
reordering, the turnover. So those are 3 things right there. Those are 3 things right there that are really, really important. They look at the team a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're going to put their own team in. Usually, when they make an acquisition, if they're going to spend a lot of money, it's their right, okay? But if there's some superstars that stand out, they'll keep the superstars. So that's what I found all these years that was like synonymous with all the companies that were built and sold. Profitability, trajectory of the product, is there future sales they can get? They want to see all that. Yeah, and luckily in the brands we had, that's been the case. Yeah.
But if they are looking to
Acquire.
acquire,
If you're looking
things they
to
should look out
acquire, you have to do what they call due diligence. They have to dig inside our books or whoever's selling, make sure the books are real, make sure the sales are real, make sure the numbers are real, the profit's real. Talk to some of the buyers is what some of the people did that were looking at my company. They went and talked to ShopRite or Walmart, and they want to hear right from the buyer, how's this product doing? Think you're going to sell more next year or less next year? So that's the other side of it. If you're looking to buy, you have to do your homework before you spend a lot of money and buy a company. Yeah, it's very, very, very important. From
Yeah, a
that
lot of people
standpoint.
don't realize
Good
how
question.
competitive the
Yeah,
the
I think I answered it right.
market.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
No, that was
yeah,
great.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're at the point in the show where we ask every single guest
Uh-oh.
2 questions. First question is, if you were to be able to have dinner with anyone in history, dead or alive, famous, not famous, family, friends, politicians, historians, who would it be?
Babe
Second.
Ruth.
Babe
Oh,
Ruth.
that came
That
out
was the
fast.
quickest
I
answer
didn't even
ever.
get it out.
Why?
Fun, New York Yankee, legendary.
Okay.
He saved
Fun.
he saved baseball. He saved baseball.
Ooh.
And that was your first response.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth. That was the quickest
the
anyone's ever
quickest.
answered.
Yeah.
Some people are like,
They they ponder.
all right, next question.
Second question then. If you were to be able to have the phone contact list to anyone in history, dead or alive, family, friend, politician, historian,
The contact list?
phone
Yeah.
contact
Hugh
list.
Hefner. No, I'm kidding.
No, we're going with that. That was fucking amazing. That was amazing. That's it. Final answer.
And then a high note.
That was amazing.
So
Right.
That's who it would
So
be.
there you go.
All right.
I think that's who it would be.
I mean, you got 2. You have Babe Ruth and Hugh Hefner.
The other person might be Frank Sinatra. Big Sinatra
Ooh,
guy.
okay. Another like
Sinatra.
All of them are like ladies' men.
women. Yeah, I was gonna say
Babe
womanizer
Ruth
kind of
too. He was
He was
situation.
a
a
Rat
ladies'
Pack.
man.
He was a Rat Pack.
Yeah, we have a gift.
Wow.
We have a gift.
Thank you. Very nice of you. You want me to open it?
Absolutely.
Okay, I will open it.
The packaging
Dora.
is done by.
Yeah.
In case
What do you
you're-
think of the packaging?
In case,
designed-
right, as a
I
packaging
I
expert, what do you
designed
think
all
of the
that
packaging?
Look at it. It's two-tone. You see
Very
the coloring?
nice.
Took him months to design.
Oh, nice bracelet. Thank you
Yes.
Oh, nice.
very much. Thank you very much.
It was so fun having you on.
I
Thank
enjoyed
you
being here.
so much.
Hope you enjoyed my journey to where I'm at right now in my life.
Totally.
I mean, I
totally. What a
honestly learned
fucking
so much.
amazing life.
Thank you so
We're
much.
proud
Yes.
of you, man.
Thank you. And I'm proud to have you guys as my friends. We have fun, and we'll have more fun in the future.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being with us.
Loved it. You guys are
Amazing.
great.
Thank
guys
you.
are awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing, brother.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for tuning in to another episode of the Play Hard Look Dope podcast. We will see you next time. Bye.
Peace.